Ever had that dream of building your own company, but you stopped yourself thinking, I need millions in funding to even start? Well, guess what? Today, we're completely tearing up that script. We're about to dive deep into the Bootstrapper's playbook, a real-world guide to building a business on your terms, with your resources. So let's get into it.
And this quote right here from John Sherman, who built a really profitable online business from scratch. This is the perfect place to start. It's such a powerful reminder that you don't need some flawless resume, you don't need a laundry list of credentials to get going. Nope, you just need the will to start. And honestly, that's the real beginning for so many successful founders.
So the hero of our story today, the hero of this playbook, is the indie hacker. Now, this isn't just about coding or being a tech genius. It's a whole mindset. It means you're building a business where you get paid directly by your customers. No middlemen, no investors to answer to, no boss, just you, your idea, and the people who actually use it. It's all about independence and creating real value.
All right, so that brings us to Act 1, Meet the Indie Hacker. Before we jump into all the nitty-gritty strategies, let's really get inside the head of this type of entrepreneur, the kind of person who looks at the traditional startup path and decides to forge their own.
And that leads us right into Act 2, a place every founder eventually finds themselves, a critical crossroads. This is the big one. The decision made here will basically define the entire journey of their company. Do you bootstrap it, or do you chase the big money from venture capital?
So let's be super clear on what we're talking about here. Bootstrapping means you are self-funding. It's you, your personal savings, any money the business starts to make, and a whole lot of resourcefulness. That's it. You're not taking big checks from VCs or banks. It is the path of pure self-reliance.
And this table just lays out the central conflict perfectly, doesn't it? On one hand, with bootstrapping, you keep 100% ownership. It's your ship to steer. But growth is slower, more organic. On the other hand, with VC funding, you get this rocket fuel of cash for super fast scaling, but you give up a piece of your company and a lot of control. It's the ultimate trade-off, control versus speed.
You know, for all the headlines you see about massive funding rounds, the VC path is not the norm. Not even close. This survey of 100 startups in India shows you the reality on the ground. A whopping 60% are self-financed. The vast majority of entrepreneurs are bootstrapping. It's not just some niche alternative. It's the most common way businesses actually get built.
And this is exactly why that path is so compelling. What might look like limitations from the outside are actually superpowers. You have full authority, you keep all the equity you build, and because you don't have a giant bank account, it forces you to develop incredible financial discipline. But most important of all, it keeps you laser-focused on your customers and what they'll actually pay you for.
Okay, so you've chosen this path. What's the plan? How do you actually win? Well, in Act 3, we're going to break down the playbook, a modern, super actionable strategy for bootstrapped software companies.
The whole strategy really boils down to this powerful evolution. You don't start by trying to build some world-changing AI that does everything. No, you start simple. You build a tool, and then you evolve it into an intelligent agent. This is the secret pattern that so many breakout companies follow.
And it breaks down into 3 very clear stages. First, you build one amazing tool that solves one specific, really painful problem. This gets you your first users, and, this is key, it gets you data. Second, you use that data to add smart recommendations, making your user's life way easier and making your product super sticky. And only then, after you've done all that, do you get to stage 3, launching AI agents that can do the work all on their own.
Now listen, it is absolutely critical that you do not skip these steps. Why? Because if you jump straight to AI without the user data and the trust you built in stages 1 and 2, your AI agents will be inaccurate. Inaccurate agents just frustrate people, they leave, and pretty soon you're in a death spiral. The takeaway here is simple. Sequence matters a lot.
Okay, so right now you might be thinking, this all sounds really smart, but how big can a bootstrapped company actually get? Well, in Act 4, we're going to look at the ultimate proof that this playbook can lead to a massive, massive payoff.
And that's the big question, isn't it? Is there a limit to how far you can go without taking on huge investment? Can a company that's built just on its own revenue really become a true titan of industry? Can it compete with the big guys?
$12 billion. Just let that number sink in for a second.
That $12 billion, that's the price Intuit paid to acquire MailChimp, a company that was 100% bootstrapped from day one. This is, to date, the largest exit ever for a business that never took a single dollar of venture capital.
If you need validation that the Bootstrapper's path can lead to incredible success, this is it.
And MailChimp's journey is just the perfect real-world example of our playbook. They didn't even start as a software company. They were a web design agency. And on the side, they slowly, methodically built a tool to solve a problem for their own customers. For over 20 years, they just listened to their users, they grew organically, and they focused on being profitable, all the way to a $12 billion outcome. Incredible.
So, what does this all mean for you? Act 5 is about your first move. How do you take these huge stories and these grand strategies and actually apply them to your life right now?
These are the rules to live by. Okay, first, understand that revenue isn't just money. It's the absolute strongest proof that you found a real problem worth solving. That means you should try to sell your thing before you even build it. Get that commitment. Then, let your very first paying customers be your guide. Let them shape what you build next. Because early revenue, that's not just traction. That is the raw, unfiltered truth about your idea.
And that leaves us with one last, provocative question to chew on. Forget about building a fancy app for a second. Forget about raising money. Think smaller. Think simpler. What's one painful problem you see around you that you could get paid to solve manually for just one person this week? Because that right there, that's your first step. That's the start of the Bootstrapper's path.